I was hoping Forrest Erickson was going to be here and talk about the planetarium. I needed someone else to take part in this. So my name is David Coleman. I know some of you, not all of you, the folks on the school board are familiar with seeing me. I didn't know that this meeting existed until I was invited to come speak to you guys and share some of my concerns. My daughter is next door at Union Grove Middle, and so my wife and I spend plenty of time over there. I was going to try to talk to you without reading from a paper, but then I realized my wife told me I was carrying on too long. So I'm going to read this quickly, and you guys listen quickly. If you have something to write with, I'm going to give you something to write down here in a few minutes. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to share what I'm working on. I'm a dad who was very typical to most others. I was not engaged in any way with the school system until my daughter brought home the book Dragon Wings. I started asking questions, and what impacted me the most was not the answer, but the way parents were treated by central office. I want to make it very clear that I support teachers and principals. Any criticism you hear from me is directed at the curriculum or central office staff. I told Mr. Merle when we talked a few weeks ago on the phone about Dragon Wings, and what I said to him that if it was handled differently, I would probably not be involved at this point. I didn't say if the outcome was different. I was referring to how parents were treated and how teachers were treated. Ironically, I got involved mainly because of my daughter's teacher. I don't have time to cover everything, so I ask that you write down a few web addresses to reference later. I just needed a place to put my efforts and my research, so I set up BlountCountyReformation.com. It's literally just me. It sounds like it's an organization. It's this dad right here. Blount County Reformation altogether.com. For files and storage, I use BCSdocs.com. And for the scores we're going to discuss, the TCAP scores, you can find that at scores.bcsdocs.com. Back to asking questions. I asked what I thought was a simple question. How are we doing? What are our TCAP scores? I submitted the request to central office, and what I received was 2 links to a state website. What I found there was a 45,000 row Excel file that included every subject of every grade of every school in the state. Here's the thing, I didn't ask the state, I asked Blount County Schools. I also asked for numeric scores, and the state only provides levels of meeting expectations. After explaining to central office their legal obligations, I received an official public records request response that stated, quote, "Your request is denied on the following grounds. No such records exist, or this office does not maintain records responsive to your request." And you guys can read the email trail on that website, on that link that I gave you. I'm fully transparent, everything's there. Thankfully, I am decent at Excel, so I formatted what I got from the state into a more usable layout. As you might guess, based on central office's response to my request, the scores are not good. I'm convinced that stakeholders have a right to know how things are going. For our high school math, 26% tested met expectations. 26% met expectations in math for our high school. That's obviously grades 9th. Wow, I'm losing my train of thought. 9 through 12? Yeah, sorry. For 3rd through 8th grade in both English and math, 35% tested met expectations, and these are last spring's testing. I realized COVID made things worse, but things were not good prior to COVID. In 2019, 33% of our 3rd through 5th graders met expectations of literacy. When the strategic plan was approved by the board in the summer of 2021, the goal for the next school year, 2022, was set at 43%, meeting expectations for literacy. The result was 38%, which was last spring. We have one school less than 20% tested met expectations for math and science. Let me try that again. We have one school where 20% of those tested met expectations for math and science both. Lastly, when we're looking at the new state law regarding 3rd graders, we have 5 schools with less than 25% of the 3rd graders tested meeting expectations for literacy, with one of those schools being less than 10%. Having been so uninformed for so long, I'm doing what I can to educate other parents and try to educate the commission. Hopefully we can work together to improve our child's chances for future success. Thank you for your time.